Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel with another great CPaaS Alliance Acceleration series. Today we have, tremendous insights and industry insiders here. So let's start by going around the horn. Robert, why don't you introduce yourself, your role in the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance, and a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Thanks, Evan. Great to be here. So yeah, as you said, I'm with the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance, working with the team. I'm actually coming in after a very long stint with one of the key CPaaS players and really focusing with the team on helping both players and buyers figure out better paths to market and better ways to reach the end user with CPaaS. So I've been in the B2B industry, both on the buy and sell side for many years. Really enjoy building new products and figuring out how to connect with buyers. So this is an awesome opportunity to get in and help the players in the market take this thing to the next level.
Awesome. And coming from sunny Colorado, also hopefully sunny Kevin in Salt Lake. Kevin Nethercott, CPAth Acceleration Alliance co-founder. Kevin, how are you?
Doing well this morning. Thanks, Evan.
Awesome. And special guest, Anand from Crescendo. Anand, you are our industry guru here, so no pressure. But maybe introduce yourself, and for those folks who don't know Crescendo and the history of the company, give us a bit of the story.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thanks, guys, for having me on. A little bit of background. Been in the space, in kind of the converged communication space now for, almost 30 years. And then started NetSapiens roughly 20 years ago, and focused on really kind of next generation. As crazy as it sounds, kind of mobility and remote work all those years ago, and then obviously merged with Crescendo in 2021. And kind of take the next step. We have a UCaaS platform. A lot of our providers are, and I think that's a big reason. I think Kevin will touch on that. Big reason why we're here as well is a lot of our providers are using our platform to really kind of slowly but surely start driving CPaaS like applications in the marketplace. But now I serve on the board and am also the chief strategy officer of Crescendo as a part of the combined company. NetSapiens is really on the software solution side now as a part of a larger organization.
Fantastic. And we'll dive a little deeper into your mission and go to market and other aspects of the business. But first, let's talk about IT Expo, an event that is going to get us out of the cold weather into Fort Lauderdale in person, Kevin, next week. Really looking forward to not only the overall event, but specifically the CPaaS event. This is on the heels of the Cloud Communications Alliance event, where you had quite a presence a few weeks back. So we're going back to Fort Lauderdale. Imagine that, Kevin.
Exactly. I mean, it is still February. There is still snow on the ground, and so I'm all for Lauderdale this time of year. No question about it.
So what are you looking forward to at the CPaaS showcase at IT Expo? It's kind of a new side to IT Expo, which focuses more on the traditional voice, telecom, data, networking kind of applications.
Exactly. I think it's well timed, right? I think the market is really looking, the industry is looking for kind of the next new thing. And when you look at CPaaS, or maybe a better way to frame it is customer experience, it's one of the most critical items, I think, out there for any technology vendor, and every business is trying to improve their customer experience. And so what we've created is this concept of a CPaaS showcase challenge. I always like to throw challenge in there because we're doing it American Idol style. So we'll have 4 contestants. We've got 4 great companies. We've got Crescendo, who Anand is representing here. I think I got some really cool omni-channel stuff that they're going to be showing. We have SpeechLogix that's also doing something on the messaging side. We've got Iotum, which is a super strong video company. So I'm really curious how they're going to be bringing video into kind of next generation applications. And then we also have VIX, who is a retail CPaaS player. And so they're selling directly to businesses. And so I think they'll have a really interesting perspective on, what services are selling and the customer journey, and then showing us, some live demos of what it is that customers are actually using.
That's exciting. And American Idol style, you'll actually have judges. So can you tell us who the judges are yet, or are they still top secret?
No, we've got some good ones. In fact, we've got two, here today with us on the call. So Evan, we appreciate you participating.
Oh, self-plug, yes.
That's right. That's right. We did this together at about a month ago, and you participated there, and you didn't quite take on the Simon Cowell role as much as I thought you might, but
I'm way nicer than him. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you definitely are. Robert is joining the judging board this time as well, bringing his CPaaS experience, and then we've got two more judges I think that are really adding some value to the mix. We've got Jordan Rupar, who is with Q Advisors, so she's actually an investment banker, and she does a number of interesting CPaaS related, UCaaS related, industry specific deals. And so she asked some very pointed questions and follow up, which I think are really interesting. And then I'm also excited to announce that Jeff Pulver is actually going to be joining us as a judge as well. He'll be at the show. I think he's doing a keynote in the morning, and then he'll be joining us as one of our judges. And if I think back to the old Vaughn days, I'm sure he's going to call the applications that we show purple apps. So we'll get a little dialogue going with Jeff on his purple.
That's a bit
apps,
of an insider's joke, but come see the showcase and you'll get a definition of what that is. And Robert, we had a State of the Union in this country just the other night. What's the State of the Union for CPaaS? What's the current and what's the future look like?
Yeah. So I've been spending a lot of time talking to various players on every side of the CPaaS market here over the last several months. One of the big things that we're seeing and that we're going to see at this year's show is the deeper integration of AI into the stack. And that's good because we haven't heard enough about AI here in the last couple of weeks. I haven't seen any news articles whatsoever, but that's always been one of the bigger opportunities is when you're talking about automation and you're talking about plugging communications into the rest of the enterprise. How can you leverage AI both from an automation perspective, but also in analyzing what's going on? So I'm really excited to see how vendors are doing that at this year's show. I know there's a lot of providers talking about it and talking about how they're simplifying that. The other piece that we're continuing to see is the deeper integration of CPaaS and communications into actual business applications. So as CPaaS started out, it was really more of a developer's tool and a developer's playground. But in order to really accelerate, as we say, CPaaS and the adoption of CPaaS in the enterprise, we really need to meet the buyers and the users where they are. And the vast majority of people in the enterprise don't write code for a living. They're accountants, they're answering calls, they're thinking about products. So I'm also really excited to see how CPaaS starts to get integrated into more apps like Crescendo and some of the other players that are going to be on our panel. And then lastly, as you see these things start to converge and become easier to use and deploy, we're also going to see new paths to market with CPaaS. So it's typically been a direct buyer, a direct consumer play. But as we make these things more consumable, easier to define and easier to deploy, you're going to start to see the channel become more of a player in terms of how these services get distributed and get used.
Those are some great points. Really looking forward to diving in deeper at IT Expo. And Anand, as you're in the trenches, as it were, on the front lines. Often we talk about CPaaS, we do it in the context of like industry analyst reports and Gartner quadrants. But what are you really seeing, kind of on the ground with real customers?
Well, I mean, I think I think the point is well taken. There is as you continue to see, what I consider is, from a personalization of experience, right? For lack of a better term, you're seeing the need for, fragmented use cases, depending on a vertical that you're going after, or end user clusters, right? I mean, from the standpoint of Crescendo and the NetSapiens platform, we have, and I can only speak from the customer segments that we have. 200 odd service providers that are all out there addressing specific needs, and then as we continue to kind of evolve into the CX space, and it's all about customer experience. And so when it comes to customer experience, you have a number of these service providers that are going after specific segments, and those segments have specific use cases. And so those use cases are now being, the sensitivity to customer experience becomes a big factor. And so the need to basically, customize, if you will, the applications that, are delivered becomes a big factor.
Yeah, great points. And what I love about this marketplace, it's sort of democratizing communication services. You don't have to be an Uber or a Lyft to leverage CPaaS these days in your application and your tech stack. Do you have any industries or verticals or customers that have really said, wow, that's interesting and surprising how they're using CPaaS in their
Yeah, I
customer
mean,
services?
literally is across the board, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in our case, exposing the application platform, the UCaaS core, as I call it, the operating system, out to end customers, and exposing the API such that they can take specific slithers, and whether it's assisted living, whether it's automotive industry, the workflow associated with these different businesses, it's all about productivity, right? And so the workflow associated with these specific industries is ever so different. At the core, they all need those kind of communication applications, if you will. And now, to the earlier point about being able to integrate to some of the next generation stuff that's out there from an AI perspective, or a transcription perspective, or voice analysis and whatnot. It behooves the service provider or the MSP, or whoever's delivering the end user service, to really kind of carve out what that specific use case might be.
Yeah, it's all about the use case. And I think that's also a lot of what the CPaaS Alliance acceleration Alliance is all about, is that, putting a spotlight on use cases and real world applications and the key landscape of service providers and application enablers. So Rob, when you're judging these various solutions down at IT Expo, what are some of the things you're looking for as sort of an independent expert?
Yeah. So I've got to say, I think Anand really hit the nail on the head. It's how applicable is this use case? How easy is it to use and deploy in specific businesses? Because that's really where you get the adoption. If you're focusing on a vertical, or you're focusing on a common horizontal use case, what I'm really interested in is how easy is it for a user to get in and use this from day one, versus, hey, do I have to go write some more code, or do I have to go integrate it into this, that, and the other? All of those steps that you've got to take in order to be able to use it really decreases the velocity with which people can sell it and utilize the service. So that's going to be my biggest thing is usability and ease of deployment within specific industries and use cases.
That's super exciting. And then what can visitors expect to see of Crescendo at the show? Are there specific demos, or do you have certain team members there, or what can we look forward to seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, to kind of Rob's point, the things that we're looking to do are really kind of hone in on mobility and app-based customer experience, right? So we launched the NetSapiens CX product. What we're looking to showcase are again, a laser focused kind of SMS messaging related customer experience. I don't want to completely, expose what we're going to be showing there for obvious reasons. But again, it's about, mobility. It's about ease of use. It's about, hey, look, what can I do when I'm on, from a customer service standpoint? What can I do from my phone? Quite
Mhm.
frankly, you know.
Yeah, totally. And I think 5G is really supercharging this whole space for developers and employees and users as well. It's lit a fire under all the different video applications that are enabled through CPaaS. And Kevin, what I know you're heading out to Mobile World Congress as well. What are you seeing on the mobility side? Because there's a whole new wave of enterprise mobility services coming on stream, many of which are enabled by CPaaS.
That's right. That's right. I think, from the broadest, definition of CPaaS, it really is exposing the network through APIs, right? And so obviously that's voice, that's messaging, but there's a lot of, richness at the 5G level as well as with IoT. And so, we're seeing a number of manufacturing vertical orientated applications now where you're taking IoT, messaging, and voice, mashing that up together with, safety systems. And so, yes, the 5G side of it from a data side is important, but also then just looking at it from a mobile perspective, we're all mobile. So the more that we can do at the handset at a native level, I think that that's
Mhm.
really where the industry needs to go, is giving access to these applications to the native dialer on the phone. That'll open up a whole new world. If you look at what Anand's doing with Crescendo and with the NetSapiens platform, being able to have all of those tools that have been on your desktop native on your phone, it's a game changer on how all that works. And so clearly, that's where it's going, is more of that network capability exposed through APIs, that then you have this elegant user experience, through a CPaaS.
Fantastic. So for folks listening, watching, rewatching, how can they get involved in the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance, either as a participant in the community, as a sponsor, a partner, media partner, what have you? What would you suggest?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think first, specific to IT Expo, I think, Evan, we're going to live stream again, right? And so
Correct. Yep.
part of the showcase, which is exciting, is we actually have a partnership with a company called Gamify that has created a voting application for us. And so we're able to expose that not only to those, in the room, but anybody that happens to catch this, streaming, will actually be able to participate and vote for their favorite application. So we're going to expand it well beyond
Wow.
Fort Lauderdale on being able to interact and have a voice, on the winner here. So I'd invite them to do that next Tuesday. That'll be at 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, is when we'll be live streaming that, and they can come in, and we'll have a QR code where they can download that app and be able to participate that way, real time. Otherwise, for individuals, definitely follow us on LinkedIn at the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance. And then we're creating quite a library of content now at cpaasaa.com. We've got a number of guest blogs, analyst blogs. Evan, a lot of the material that we're doing together there is posted in a library as well. And so anyone that is interested in learning about the sector, about certain parts of the business, we'll have rich data there for them to come and take a look and learn about what's going on out there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys and some fun in the sun. Anand, you're in San Diego, so I know every day is paradise and for you guys, but some of us from Boston, we need to get out now and then. So, any favorite restaurants or locales in Fort Lauderdale? I know there'll be quite a few after parties and dinners and that kind of thing around town. If not, watch my Twitter feed. I'll update you on all the latest social gatherings. But look forward to seeing you all. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your interest in CPaaS.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Kevin.